Going to run for governor? Give me an answer.
Am I going to run for
nice
governor?
answer. I want to break the news.
There's no news to break. Whatever decision I make will be based on what I think could be effective and good for myself and the people of Rhode Island.
No news to break. Oh, come on. That was the speaker with me on the radio. Now he's on television. Speaker Joe Shekarchi in studio.
Holding the powerful accountable from Washington, D.C. to right here in southern New England. This is 10 News Conference with Gene Valicenti.
Well, let's try holding the powerful accountable. Mr. Speaker, welcome in.
It's my pleasure to be here.
Should I hold you accountable on something?
Whether you ask me or not, you're going to, so go right ahead.
You know, there's no introduction. You need no introduction. Let's get right to it. Okay. Now, I asked you on the radio, you're going to run for governor. You said, it's a personal decision. Nothing now. Maybe I'll let you know. Are you going to let us know? Television now, Sunday morning.
Sunday morning television, a very popular show. I talked to you about this 2 weeks ago. Right. Nothing's changed in 2 weeks.
You know, when I had Speaker Narona in that very same seat, at least he said, I'm semi-interested. Are you semi-interested?
I would say a lot of people have asked me to consider it, and I am considering it.
You are considering
it?
Okay, so that's news. All right.
I wouldn't call it news. I've been saying that for a long time, but it may be news on this show, but that's okay.
For our purposes, you are considering it. Well, what's going to push you over the top? Money. You have money. Everybody talks about how much money you have in your campaign accounts. You have constituents. You have sectors. Or what is it? What are we waiting on?
It's a very personal decision. I like the job I have right now. I enjoy being Speaker of the House. I enjoy my life right now, and this would be a major change in that. And it's a serious decision to make, and it's going to be done with a lot of thought. Process.
When you say personal decision, what do you mean? Like the elevated celebrity status that people watch you every day? What do you mean?
No, it's just I'm an attorney and I still practice a little bit, not as much as before. That would give stop practicing law. You work full time. You be at the State House every day. So there's a thought process to go in this. It's life altering. It's changing, not necessarily in a good way or a bad way, but it is what it is. It's no different. I've worked for governors in the past, and I've worked for Governor Sondland for a long time, so I know what it's like to be in the State House. I've been in the State House as the Speaker, as a legislator, so I understand all that, and it's just a thought process. Well, I don't have any breaking news to make right now, so that's all I can tell you.
Well, that means you'll come back. We'll invite you again.
I'll come back. Every time you invite me, I will come back on the show.
You know, it's interesting you mentioned you're a lawyer in private practice. Governors don't make a lot of money.
They make a lot more than legislators.
Well, that's true.
But it's not about the money. Honestly, it's not about the money. It's really what you think you can be the most effective and do people who get involved in public life, public sector, public service want to know what's best, do what's best for Rhode Island, what they can be the most effective at, and that's part of the thought process as well. How
come it's so hard for a speaker to go to governor?
It's been that way traditionally, not only in Rhode Island, but around the country. It's very difficult because as speaker, you basically, and I feel this way at times, you're the speaker of no. You have to say no to a lot of people. You have to manage a room of 74 different people with 74 different personalities, 74 different priorities, and you have to do it in a way that you're still respectful to the office you hold, and you have to be effective. You have to get things done. I think for the most part, I'm not tooting my own horn, but I think I've been effective, and I think I've gotten good things done. It's not easy, but what I like to pride myself as someone who, brings people together to get good things done.
Well, you have to step on some toes. You're stepping on some towns that don't want your affordable housing. You stepped on some of the gun rights people. You don't seem to be afraid of that.
It comes with the job. It's not being afraid. It's doing what's right. It's doing what's right. Look, Eleanor Roosevelt said something a long time ago. She said, do what you think is right, and do what's right, because you're going to get criticized regardless of what you do or what you don't do. So I do what I think is right, and that's what I think is right. And gun safety was a very important issue. I've had a record of that. I try to balance that. I think this legislation that passed was a good balanced piece of legislation. Would I have liked to maybe see it go a little bit more? But it is what it is. You have to compromise. Politics, governing is the art of compromise, and you have to compromise to get things done. We've done a lot of good things since I've been Speaker. I stand behind those things. I have a good record, and I'll stand on that record.
All right. Well, we'll get to the list. Saying no. Well, I guess you said no to Governor McKee on a few things, and you said yes to others. And he said, I don't like the budget. It's more than I put in for, and it's overspending. Money we don't have. And I didn't ask for this, and I didn't ask for the 2-cent gasoline tax, and I didn't ask for a lot of things that Shekarchi put in. And you told me on the radio, well, he handed me something that was short to begin with.
That's correct.
Naturally, I had to spend more, and all the mayors were calling me up. Is that still the story you're sticking by, that he gave you something knowingly short? To what? To set you up?
It's not, no, he didn't, not to set me up. And and first of all, it's not a story, it's the truth, number one,
Okay.
and it doesn't change whether I talked to you on the radio 2 weeks ago or I talked to you on TV today.
Right.
It's the truth. The budget had a lot of holes in the budget and a lot of things that, there were policy statements my chamber and the General Assembly did not want to support. They were trying to take $22 million away from retirees, from raid the pension fund. Look, the budget met the moment. We had critical needs in this state. It was a good budget. It depends on how you define good. Okay, I don't define it as good when you have people who are in nursing homes. We want to make sure they have the right staffing amounts and the right care. So we gave additional money at nursing homes. There are patients in hospitals that have long wait times in emergency rooms. We wanted to do that. We have, and we still have today, a healthcare crisis in Rhode Island in many ways. Some of our hospitals are in bankruptcy right now. Our primary care physicians will leave. Practices were closing. We needed to take action. Yes, do we need to study it? And we are studying it, but we needed to take immediate action, and that's what this budget did.
Yeah.
I'm proud of this budget. More so, it was a very difficult budget, but I'm very happy with the outcome, and I'll stand behind it. And I think if you look at some of the people that this budget touched in effect, they greatly appreciate what we as a General Assembly did. And it's not just me. It's not just one person. It's my House leadership team. It's the House Finance Committee, and it's the Senate as well. There are a lot of Senate priorities in this bill. We did a lot of good things in this budget to help a lot of people in Rhode Island. I stand behind it.
Well, if I'm a governor running for re-election, that's a pretty good strategy. You know what? I'll put in this budget and I'll hand it to the Speaker. Let him be the one who has to spend more. And let him be the one who puts the 2-cent tax addition on the gasoline. You do the dirty work, and then when I run, I could say, he's a tax and spender. Look, the budget, he's spending more. Isn't that a good strategy?
You'd have to ask them. For me, it's not about strategy. The governor puts his budget together and gives it to the General Assembly in January based on revenue numbers that he gets in November. We in the General Assembly have the luxury of waiting until June, and we get the May revenue numbers, and that's how we craft our budget. So things changed. Healthcare crisis got changed. RIPTA needed funding as well. Cities and towns needed additional money. We needed to meet those obligations, and we needed to meet the moment. But there were significant changes in the budget. That's part of the process, no different than they were the year before, the year before.
RIPTA, boy, you want to give them another 2 cents earmark from the gas tax. They're short millions. Troubled agency. You can shovel more money at them? What?
Let me tell you about RIPTA. Provides a critical need for Rhode Island. It's a lifeline for the people who take RIPTA. They need it. It's also good workforce development. I was recently at Amazon. They had the groundbreaking 1,500 people there. RIPTA has a program with Amazon where they have direct bus stops right on the Amazon property. They have workers going to and from work, and Amazon subsidizes that. We need more of those things. RIPTA needs to be a high-functioning agency. We need good, sustainable public transportation here in Rhode Island. They also have a program called Ride Anywhere that helps people with disabilities. That's a lifeline to those people. I wasn't about to cut that or close that, and we need to do this. Look, the governor gave me a budget 2 years ago that had no increase for RIPTA. We in the General Assembly gave $15 million. The governor gave me another budget this year that had no money for RIPTA. We in the General Assembly made an effort to meet them halfway, or not halfway, but more than halfway. But I will tell you, even in the Senate, there were people who supported additional money. It didn't pass, but it came very close to passing a budget amendment that would have put additional money into RIPTA. We want the public transportation system to be a good functioning agency. They have an efficiency study. They need to figure it out. I'm willing to work with them. I roll up my sleeves. They're trying.
Well,
they
you're
need
very
to get
patient. You're very patient, going on a long time, shoveling money at RIPTA.
Well, they had a
maybe the whole thing needs to be changed. Maybe smaller buses, jitneys, as opposed to large ones lumbering down Broadway, 3 people in them.
That's a very good point, and that's why the General Assembly asked last year, and they're in the middle of an efficiency study to find out what's the best way. Maybe we're changing our routes, maybe we're changing the sizes of the buses, maybe the frequency. I don't know about that. I don't know how they handle their advertising, their promotion. Those things will all come out in an efficiency study. We hope to have that before we go back in the General Assembly next year.
All right, stay with us. Let's talk truck tolls, housing, guns. We'll continue with Speaker Shekarchi on 10 News Conference.
Thank you for turning to 10, your news leader. 10 News Conference with Gene Valicenti continues right now.
Welcome back to 10 News Conference. House Speaker Joe Shekarchi is in with us for the full half hour. We have already asked him if he's going to run for governor. He said, I'm considering it. That's as far as you want to go.
Considering a lot of things, yes,
all right,
absolutely.
Okay. We're considering the end of the show here, another 15 minutes. Let's talk guns, because that's something that you and the governor agree upon. that was called the assault weapons ban. It really wasn't a ban. You can still have them. You don't have to register them. You just can't buy them or make them in Rhode Island, and it's a compromise. But you'll be back next year, or at least your party will be back next year asking for more, right? Isn't that the way politics works with guns?
I think, first of all, everyone comes back and asks for everything. That's
Okay.
nothing new. Gun bills have been introduced for 20 some odd years, they'll probably be introduced for another 20 years, and I can say the same thing about a lot of different issues. So just because we've made some progress on assault rifle a ban or assault rifle regulation in Rhode Island doesn't mean that it'll stop. And you can't, because people always say to me as speaker or as majority, so-and-so put this bill in. We don't police, and anybody can put anything in. We actually have a mechanism called at request, where any citizen can ask their legislator to put a bill in for them. Doesn't mean that the bill is going to go anywhere, that we endorse the bill, but we try to include people and participate in the process.
Oh, I know, but you have a lot of, you decide how far that thing is going to go. Whoever puts it in, it comes by you, and you're the gatekeeper of anything.
Yep, there's a whole leadership team, but I'm the head of that, and I have that responsibility.
So when they come back next year and say we want to go for possession, we want to go for the registry, are you at this point ready to say that's enough, or will you consider it?
I consider everything. I keep an open mind on everything. I never prejudge anything. I'd have to look at it. The House passed a very good piece of legislation, Representative Knight's legislation. It went to the Senate. It was changed. It was modified. It came back over to the House. We had to make a decision that last hours of the session, that last night of session, whether we were going to pass that legislation or pass nothing for the year. We as a leadership team and as a House caucus made a decision. We wanted to bring that bill to the floor. We did. It passed overwhelmingly. And, I'm sure there'll be more legislation next year.
I used the word consider. I gave you an easy out. Are you going to say that's enough for now?
No, I never say that about any bill at all, because every year is, first of all, I have to read it. I have to look at it. Believe it, I read a lot of the bills myself personally. I want to know about them. And second of all, every situation is different. There could be a court case that changes it. There could be an event that changes it. We have to look at everything. And I never prejudge anything.
Okay.
I never like to see the headline, the speaker says no to this or yes to that, because first of all, it's not fair to the other members of the House or the General Assembly. And second of all, it really deflates people from getting involved in the system. And I think the system is better. The governing system of Rhode Island is better in general when more people participate.
We have to get to new news, which include truck tolls and housing, your initiatives on that, and your big on affordable housing. But before we leave guns, just quickly, what's wrong with somebody who says, I'm a law-abiding citizen, I behave, and I want to pick up a gun that can shoot and shoot and shoot and shoot in case I need it, somebody breaks into my house. I want more than just 2 shells and a shotgun. What's wrong with that?
Well, I think you can still have handguns and you can still protect yourself. The Second Amendment is still alive and well in Rhode Island. We have a stronger assault rifle ban in Massachusetts and a stronger assault rifle ban in Connecticut. So it's the certain types of guns that really scare people, particularly people who worry about their children in schools. It scare me that some person has obviously mentally issues, mental deranged or whatever, come into a school with one of those guns, a warlike gun, an assault rifle type gun that can cause a lot of damage in a very short amount of time. We've seen that in Connecticut, sadly. We've seen it in other parts of the country. And enough is enough of that. And I think you can still have your cake and eat it too. You can still defend yourself. No one's taking away all guns. No one's putting in a registry of that. This piece of legislation that passed was fair and balanced, and I believe, in my personal view and my professional view as an attorney, constitutional.
Okay, that's old news. You may be back next year. We'll see. Not you. I know you've established that. Anybody can put it in. All right, let's move to new news. It's going to be a big story. Truck tolls. There's already money in the budget, counting on that. The gantries, I understand, are being maintained. How are you going to turn them on? And how are you going to be fair to in-state truckers and out-of-state truckers? What's the plan? I think we ought to have one by now. What is it?
So that falls under the Department of Transportation and the Bridge and Turnpike Authority, and it's part of the executive function. The governor put in his budget, and the General Assembly left untouched, about $10 million in the fourth quarter of this fiscal year.
Okay.
So there are some issues with the tolls. The hardware needs to be upgraded, and the software also needs to be upgraded. But I will tell you that the people who are making those decisions about that of taking into consideration the First Circuit Court of Appeals decision on that, and I'm sure that what they will ultimately end up charging will be something that is consistent with the law and as indicated in that court decision.
So everybody is going to be charged one lower toll to make it more palatable for the in-state. Job Lot was on a while ago complaining vehemently.
I'm meeting with them next week. Let's have a discussion. When you say everybody, every truck.
I don't
want people to think that.
No, that would be.
Yeah,
they run you out.
Well, you want to break news, so I don't want Gene Valicenti to go off saying that.
Nobody's talking car tolls.
Okay.
You know, Speaker Mattiello said absolutely not on my watch. You going to say the same thing?
Yes, I have said that many times, and and that's what the law says also, by the way. It's not just Joe Shekarchi. There's a law that says that as well.
You'd have to come back and change it if we ever go down that road. By the way, no matter how much you preach it, some people don't believe.
I understand.
It's going to happen.
Some people still think the convention center is going to be a casino.
Well, I've heard electricity. It's got the outlets for the slot machines.
I've heard that. You're playing into people's conspiracy theories. You know that.
No, you brought that up.
And I think you enjoy it, though.
It's entertaining. But back to truck tolls. My understanding that, Job Lot's so mad. You're meeting with Mark Perlman?
Yes, I've met with him before.
What are they telling you?
Well, we had a nice meeting before just about in general. I told them that they really need to be engaged with the members of the General Assembly. And to their credit, they hosted a group of legislators who went down to the General Assembly and looked at all of the good things that Ocean State Job Lot does. All of the charitable work they do, the things they work in their community and stuff like that. Look, I understand no one wants to pay a fee or a toll, but I also understand that Job Lot operates in other jurisdictions that have tolls too. So there has to be a fair balance in that. Look, I would prefer that we would have no tolls, but we have to fix our bridges and roads. So we have to get the revenue from somewhere.
His particular model, though, he has this big warehouse in Quonset. And so trucks come in to supply that. Trucks go out to deliver to his store. So it's constantly in and out in Rhode Island. He said every time the truck moves, it's going to be tolled. He's right. So I suspect you're going to come back, not you, whoever's going to do this, and say, tolls for everybody, but on the lower end, and we're going to live with that, and that's the way they got to live with it.
Well, we'll wait and see what happens. I don't know. It's not. I can tell you this: there was not needed, or no, was any ask for legislation from the General Assembly. The executive branch, the governor, the DOT feel like they can do this based on the court decision without the need of coming back to the General Assembly. So I'm waiting to see what that formula will look like, and we'll see how it comes out, and we'll have to deal with it and maybe address it at that time.
Okay, let's stick with transportation. Bridge, Washington Bridge. We got the contractor. We know who's going to build it. We even have the date. By the way, the governor's taking a beating on this in the latest poll numbers. They're going to hang that around his neck. I don't know if you're going to run. You may hang that around his neck, too. What do you want to say about the bridge?
Look, we can't. We put money in the budget for the bridge. Last year, we've continued to address this issue. We cannot not do the bridge. And this is when you talked about RIPTA and something else, we need to have a healthy transportation system, and Washington Bridge needs to be part of that, and we need to get that up. It affects people every day. And to be truthful, it affects me. I see doctors in East Providence, and you don't know. Some days it's a 5-minute delay, and some days it's an hour and 5-minute delays. It affects everybody. Our job as public servants is to get that bridge open, on budget, on time, as quickly as possible. There are people who suffer for that. People have changed. They've moved. People have changed their work habits, their lifestyle habits, all based on the bridge. And we need to get the bridge back and open as quickly as possible.
Before I go to a break, do you know what went wrong? Nobody knows.
No, it's
because it's in court and nobody knows. Do you know?
I don't know. I don't know specifically what was the cause of the structure being insufficient and real big safety risk. I do not know, and we have to wait till the outcome of that. And I think the Attorney General will tell you the same thing. I think the DOT will tell you the same thing. It's part of ongoing litigation, and we'll have to see what the outcome is going to be.
Okay, quick break. We'll be back with the Speaker. Let's talk housing, because that's a big, big issue for the Speaker. And let's talk the homeless, too, because they're related. Right back. Welcome back. We're continuing our conversation with House Speaker Joe Shekarchi. Comes in periodically to update us. And by the way, you're on a break now, right? Go ahead.
I come in every time you ask me.
That's true. You're always accessible. Very good. You're it. Some say you're the most powerful man in Rhode Island. Do you feel like that?
Not at all. Nope.
Don't be so modest.
No, I don't.
You know the Speaker's job. Everybody has to come to you.
Not everybody, first of all, but not only that, I don't consider that self, and I consider myself a leader of maybe a powerful institution in the House and a member of my caucus that does all that. But no, I don't walk around with a big inflated head. That's not who I am. It's not that is not who I was. It's not who I am, and it'll never be who I will be.
Okay, let's talk housing. You own that issue. That's you. the ADUs. We even call it the Shekarchi cottages
on the radio. I want a copyright on that. I want a royalty on that. How many times have you said that?
Consultants would charge you for that. We gave you that as a Shekarchi cottages, ADU. You give all kinds of money to homeless agencies. We'll get to that separately. And you are pushing for affordable housing. East Greenwich took the bait. You cut the ribbon on the housing complex
on
in
Monday,
East Greenwich.
Yep. I was with the congressional delegation, Governor McKee, and several local officials as well, and I was proud to be there.
Other towns, not so much. Towns in South County, they don't want it. Johnston, really fighting you on that. They don't want it. Don't they have a point of view? Let us run the town. We know what's best. We don't want affordable housing right now.
So first of all, I disagree that we in the State House, we don't say yes or no to any project. We let the local communities do that, but they have to step up. This crisis has been 30 years in the making. There are people in Rhode Island who have serious inability to purchase a home. Mm-hmm. We need to address this issue. What we're doing in Rhode Island, I was fortunate enough to go down to D.C. and testify in the U.S. Senate to talk about the accomplishments we've made. It is working in Rhode Island. It might not be working that you can see or I can see, but building permits are at an all-time high since 2008 in Rhode Island. The backlogs in the court system, because we have a land calendar now in Superior Court, are down by over 50%. Things are starting to happen. There are more and more units. There are thousands and thousands of units on the drawing board in Providence, in Warwick. All good things are happening on housing. We need to continue that way. You want to call it my issue? I'll proudly accept the issue, and we need to address that issue. There are communities who don't want housing, and I understand that, but I will point out a couple of things. Number one, the affordable housing bond passed overwhelming in the last election by nearly 70% of the vote. The people in Narragansett who on the town council who were against affordable housing all lost their election. There were 2 seats, particularly one in Warren for the state representative June Speakman, one in Coventry for Senator Rep. Where the candidates who ran against them ran a single issue campaign against housing. And both of those candidates who ran against affordable housing or housing in general lost overwhelmingly. So the people of Rhode Island understand this. And you want to know who understands it more than anybody? It's the elderly people. And you know why? Because they're tired of seeing their children, their grandchildren move out of Rhode Island for more affordable housing in other communities. It's a jobs issue also. It's an economy issue, Gene. Because let me explain to you something. When companies are looking to come here to Rhode Island, they're looking to come in, what is the housing stock, what is their situation? And by the way, in all of these things, you want to say it's the Joe Shekarchi issue and Joe Shekarchi owns it. Joe Shekarchi will be open about it and listen to anybody who comes forward. In every community that's against it, I always say to them, please come forward. What is your solution? What is your answer? And no one has yet.
We just have about a minute left. That you posted this on your Twitter account. Did you read the comments below?
I don't.
Did you? Well, you should, because there's the other side of this. Wait a minute. There's the other side of the story. They said you're not letting towns run their own business. You're adding to traffic. You're adding to overburdened schools. This was just East Greenwich alone. Go read it. There's another side.
I know there is another side, and I will tell you that I don't really. I use Twitter as a way, Twitter or X, to get information out. I don't follow anybody, not even Eugene. So don't take it personally. I'll show you my account after we get off the air. I have zero followers.
You should follow me. Yeah.
0 followers. I mean, the people that I follow, because I'm not interested. But what I will tell you is every one of those people, I don't even know how many are real or whatever, can come forward and come to the State House and come testify on that. But I'm proud of the housing legislation. I'm proud of the work we've done on it. And there's been a lot of polling locally that it's a significant issue. It needs to be addressed. If anybody, including Gene Valicenti or any of your listeners or any of your ex-friends or whatever, want to come forward and have ideas, I'm all about it. I'm willing to come forward.
You are always going to come on my radio show and on TV. We have to get to the homeless, but we ran out of time, and I know you've spoken about that at length too. In the meantime, thanks for coming in again.
It's my pleasure to come on your show. It's a great show.
Speaker Joe Shekarchi, thanks. We've got a lot of ground on 10 News Conference, your #1 and longest running political show in Southern New England. See, I said you number one. Reminder, watch all of our interviews on turnto10.com. For now, I'm Gene Valicenti. I'll see you on the radio next week and on NBC 10 at 6. Have a great rest of your weekend.